My people, what up, though? We back with another episode of All Black Men Need Therapy. My name is Chief,
And I'm Bell.
And I'm Adrian.
and here we go again live with another Therapy Thursday. Before we get into anything, I want y'all to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Hit the website, abmnt.com. Copy some merch. None of us representing tonight, but we got some merch, some new stuff coming out as well. With that being said, fellas, happy Thursday. Happy post Valentine's Day and all that. Hope y'all boys did some good things with your loved ones. Mr.
We don't
White.
celebrate Valentine's Day in the Bellamy household.
Okay, care to elaborate?
Why? We just don't celebrate it.
Why not?
Because it's not a real holiday. It's like, it's sounds like a bunch of bullshit. No, we never have. It's never been. I haven't asked her. I'm like, hey, do you want me to get you some flowers? She's like, nah. It's like, in our defense, we're normally in the Poconos Valentine's Day weekend, and this is the first year in like, I don't know how many every years that we're not going to be there, but it's not a real holiday. That's just kind of how I view it.
No doubt. Mr. White, same tradition hold up in your household? Do you guys do something special for Valentine's Day?
Nah, we don't celebrate holidays. We don't celebrate none of them.
Oh, I know that.
So
Valentine's Day definitely ain't getting no love. No pun intended.
I mean, every once in a while, I still will get them something. Like I got my wife some nice flowers like the day before, and then I ain't do nothing for the kids this year. But you know, every once in a while, I'll give them some candy or something. But we don't really do holidays for real.
No doubt. Yeah, I just I ain't do nothing. I got my girls some flowers and some chocolates and just something just to
They're girls.
yeah, me and the twins.
Mm.
And that was that. Nothing crazy. But all right, Mr. White, check in, B. How you living? How you feeling? What's good?
I'm all right, man. I'm a little sick, a little under the weather, but and I knew it was my turn because everybody in the house been sick already, so I'm typically always the last one. Other than that, man, I just been chilling. My wife got at me for some of my comments up here about the way I be talking.
I told you.
You told me, and she made a lot of valid points. You know what I'm saying? She made a lot of valid points. I ain't as bad as I be seeming, y'all. You know what I'm saying? But with y'all not being here and not getting the whole perspective of everything, I got to be careful about the little pieces I do put out there. So I received it. You know what I'm saying? I listened very well, and you know she's great at communicating with me. But other than that, man, just grinding, building, working, providing, bro.
So I mean, for what it's worth, you did show her wild love, though. You know what I'm saying? Like you acknowledged your stubbornness last time we spoke and sung highly, sung her praises highly. So for what it's worth, Mrs. White, this brother adores you from top to bottom, inside and out.
Yeah, Bell called it every time though. I be like, you be saying some wild stuff. I be like, what? I ain't see it, but I see it.
Yeah, like I it makes sense. Like I can see why. And again, I don't, and just like she doesn't, I believe that you don't say it with malice. You know what I'm saying? It's just maybe the delivery sometimes, but it sounds like it could be taken out of context for the masses. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily her, but the masses. So
No doubt. Bellhead, check in, B. How you living? How you feeling? What's good?
I'm good, man. I'm on day 4 of my cleanse. I've been running more. My goal next month, and I started this month just to just get my body used to it. My goal next month is to run 30 miles. So just a mile a day, but I want to start off small so I can see how close I get to it. There was a period I was running like probably 8 to 10 miles. So I just want to get back to that, man. I'm back on my gym routine in the morning, which is good. I ran outside the other day. It felt good running out. I actually ran outside twice. It felt good running outside. It was like mid to high 30s, but that was a good temperature. Um, what else? Everything is cool, man. I'm getting back. My cousin then got me activated. I'm back in the real estate space, looking for a property I could flip. Me and him gonna go half on one. Uh, thought I had one, but is that Mrs. White?
Oh yeah.
Uh, that's what's up. Shout out to Black Love. That's what's up. Um, but anyway, I cousin, I found a property that was like right across the street from his house, and he already would have been going with me. So we unfortunately didn't get it. We did too much work, but I got my flipping bug back activated, so now I'm actively looking. But other than that, I'm good, man. I feel good. My wife, the my first full day in the cleanse, the next morning she gonna bake biscuits. I'm like, oh, you just a disrespectful something. She's like, oh, I forgot. And then that evening, she made brownies with Chase, but the brownies that you put chocolate chip cookies on top of them. So it was like chocolate chip covered brownies, and I ain't eating none. So I've been pretty disciplined, and I've been actually really disciplined in my 10-day cleanse. But that's it. I'm good.
That's what's up. Um, Again, the kids are happy and healthy. Everybody's doing good academically, which is dope. Um, but I don't know, man. I had this like I can't even describe it. Spirit come over me today a little while ago, and it was mm, it kind of like shifted my energy. I can't really explain it. I'm doing some introspection, and I think I need to iron some things out. I think I'm just uber sensitive to like I don't know, man. I can't even describe it right now, but I don't feel like if I give you a 1 to 10, I'm probably like at a 5. I'm like right in the middle. Like I can't really explain what's going on yet, but I'm doing some introspection to see if like what I think is bothering me is really what's weighing on me. And once I figure it out, I'll be able to articulate it. But yeah, today don't feel. I think maybe as of like at around 6 o'clock today, I don't know. I can't really explain it. So I'm
I,
feeling I'm in a weird space right now.
I picked up on it as soon as I got on the call. I knew you were off. I didn't know what was going on. I haven't talked to you since then today, but
What do you mean?
I knew I could pick up on your energy. Your energy was off from the moment I got on the call. I just know you. I just know you well enough to know that you were off. I didn't know what was going on, but I knew you were off.
Yeah, I can't really articulate it. I don't know what it is, but my energy just don't feel right.
Yo, have you considered? Um, well, one, are you talking to your therapist? This just happened, but like in general, with stuff like this, are you
Yeah,
talking to your therapist?
I'm probably a week off, a week out
Have
from
Have you?
the last conversation.
Do you feel like you're? And there's a reason behind this. Do you feel like you're getting everything that you need from your therapist? Just in therapy in
Yeah,
general. In
when I
this,
have those conversations, I always leave feeling better, feeling like I've grown, feeling like I see things clear, feeling like I've gotten a different perspective. So I definitely feel like that's helping. I think this is a lot of shit going on in my world that I need to, I still need to navigate through and tighten some things up. Um, but no, in that regard, that's good there. I just got a lot of shit going on. It's this
yeah.
pressure coming from a lot of different directions. So I'm just trying again. I don't think that's it. I also know too. I saw a clip from All the Smoke today, the All the Smoke podcast. Shout out to them. But it was I can't remember who they had on it, but Stack lost his sister and brother within the past year and a half. and they were kind of
Damn.
touching on that. And the dude who was on there lost his younger brother to cancer, and he just talked about his experience. I think that kind of like ignited it, but that's not what it is. Like it's different. It's bigger than that. I can't articulate it right now, but I think I know what it is. I'm just trying to like, process it. But yeah, my
The,
energy's definitely like something's up. I got to figure it out though.
the reason I asked the therapy question, because someone I know just recently switched therapists, and when they went to the therapist initially, and this isn't your case, but they were in like crisis mode almost, where it was like the breaking point. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody has to intervene at this point. And they've been going to that person for years actually. Um and just didn't know what they didn't know. And then they recently just started going to a new one. And then they're like, I've gotten further with this therapist in my first 5 sessions that I did in 5 years with my current one or my former one. And they're revealing things to me um that they didn't know were there. Like on the surface, they know like, hey, as a result of some of the trauma I experienced, there may be an issue down the line, but it wasn't like because of this trauma, I now suffer from X. Like it wasn't that, but it was like through this new person and just different lines of questioning, maybe approach, relatability. I know is one big thing. They found themselves exploring parts of them that they hadn't done years prior, even though they felt like the therapist was fine. But I think now what they realize is their initial therapist was out of necessity, and it was just kind of the level set. And now it's like to grow, So that's why I just asked if you would consider that, because this is your first therapist you've ever been to, right? I know in the past you might have went like once after Peanut or something like that, or it was something that happened. But again, just a question, not suggesting anything negative about your therapist, but just a question.
No, all is good in that regard, and I'm not opposed to you know speaking to someone new and getting a different perspective. But again, it's just a matter of the instance today. Like I said, I felt the moment it happened, like, and I can't really. I don't know.
There's a book that was just recommended to me called The Body Keeps the Score. I want to read that. I haven't. I watched the YouTube interview, which was good. Adrian, have you read it? Are you familiar
Nah,
with it?
my
Yeah.
wife just told me I need to read it. So
Oh,
that could
okay.
be the next
That's
one I
crazy.
take down. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. So my this is gonna be an episode for our typical recordings, but one of my former colleagues, we just had a conversation. He told me, he's like, man, you gotta, because he's into mental health and like using psychedelics to help you. Like he went to, what is it, Asawaga, or what is it? The thing that Will Smith did in his book, where you go and like you drink that stuff and then like I can't forget ayahuasca. Help me out in the chats, y'all. I know what I'm talking about.
Ashwagandha.
Yeah, it's something like that. But anyway, he recommended that book, and I'm gonna pick it up. I'm actually gonna download it when we get off. The Body Keeps the Score. But I say that to say, Chief, that I think your body recently is the scoreboard showing up, regardless of how you think you feel. Like your body's been showing you that something's up. You know what I'm saying? And whatever that is whatever that is. But the body keeps the score. And when he said that, I'm like, I gotta read it so I can then recommend it to Chief.
No, I'll check it out. But again, for right now, I can't. I'm doing some. In the growth that I've been doing, I think the first thing I've learned to do is really, really look within and introspect first, and go, are you feeling this way because you're refusing to accept something, you're refusing to acknowledge something, and then process from that point. I want to take accountability for all of my actions within this feeling, and then be able to articulate it if it's with certain people or whatever.
That'd be very impressive if you can get that accomplished. Very, very impressive. Because you're in it right now. It's not like it's not like you're looking back. Like just to use me for example, like I said, every time I've been depressed, I haven't been able to identify it in real time. It's always been after the fact. So if you're able to do that in real time, that's really impressive.
Yeah, well, again, this is just the part of these conversations we have and continue looking at things. Like it's just really helping me assess. And I think a lot of times we often get in our own way and prevent our own growth because we refuse to acknowledge our part in the pain, our part in the hurt. You know what I'm saying? So I have to assess that. So I'm doing that now. But again, it wasn't like it was all day or like I'm in a depressive state. I don't think that's what the case is. It's just a happenstance for in today. But to be able to articulate this right here is enough to kind of move me in a better direction.
Yeah.
I do want to. So, Bell, when you said that, typically with the depression, you don't notice it till after the fact. If you put like key identifiers, right? So, like once you look back on it, you'll be able to see certain things, right? So, like with me, with my stress level, I know if I start yelling at the kids, I'm stressed out because I try not to yell at them. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, oh,
Yep.
you yelling again. You need to take a day off. You need to clear your schedule. Something like that. So sometimes that helps you. You know what I'm saying? Just putting those little identifiers in, whether it's depression or anxious or stress or whatever.
That's very valid. And I think that my the instances where I have identified depression, there's the gaps in between. Literally, bro, it's 10 years in between each time. So I think at that point it's now unfamiliar. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you kind of forget. And not to say that I haven't had bouts with depression, but in terms of periods of depression, that's only happened 3 times. And but that's a good point. I think now though, my most recent time I learned the most recent time I also had the podcast, so that also helped. So I'll be curious to see how I handle it next time around, if and when it happens.
No doubt. So when I talked about being able to navigate through these emotions and help myself move forward, it like kind of helps us transition into today's topic, which was kind of navigating and moving through masculinity. And I think it's more challenging than a lot of us think, or a lot of us are willing to admit and acknowledge. So when I looked up masculinity, fellas, it said having qualities traditionally ascribed to men, i.e., strength and boldness. The rest of the definitions were just kept going man and men and whatever. But that's the only tangible thing that I got from it. So before we even get into how we navigate through it, how would you guys define it? The essence of masculinity.
I've actually never looked up the definition of masculinity, but what I'll say is when I think of masculinity, I think of um, the qualities that an adult male figure growing up would constitute as being a man, right? Like, so not showing your feelings, not crying, um, not being vulnerable, um, taking care of women, protecting women, providing for a household, um, being assertive. Like those, again, I never looked up the definition, but by my definition, that's what it means.
Which is interesting to hear because as much as I do agree with everything you said, those first couple of ones you mentioned, like not protecting your emotions, not crying, and being vulnerable, are all now attributes that I would define as representing a man, which is weird because I feel like you've embraced your manhood when you become comfortable in those elements. You know what I'm saying? But in the same token, I don't feel like those are what are traditionally ascribed as masculine, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
no, 100%. Like all you're talking about is growth. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's all you're talking about.
But the thing is, like, I would, if you ask me to describe a man, I would say one who is willing to do those things, be vulnerable, blah, blah. But when you ask me to describe masculinity, I would exclude those things. because they don't necessarily fit in the mold of what's masculine. You dig what I'm saying?
I thought I did. I thought I was with you until just then.
Yeah, you lost me too, Chief.
So if you just go from masculine and feminine, right?
Yep.
The masculine thing to do would be represent machismo, to be
Yep.
essence of manhood. But when I think of manhood, all those things are represented in mature man, as in one who is now in acceptance of who he is and doesn't have to hide behind the masculinity of what manhood is perceived to be.
Then why is that still part of your definition?
No, I'm speaking of the two, because if I'm representing masculinity, like it's more of a visual or a perceptive type thing versus the essence of being a man. You dig what I'm saying? I think masculinity is like
Kinda. Adrian, maybe you can help me. Do you understand what
it's
he's
like
saying?
characteristic traits within masculinity.
Yeah, I kind of do, but then I'd be wondering if I'm right. But the way I look at it is maybe our perception of what masculinity is early on is just wrong.
Oh,
Right.
100%.
So like the thing that Bell was saying, like, yeah, that's how we view it. But now that we're in manhood, it looks totally different. Because masculine is being vulnerable too with your emotions and emotional intelligence. Like I believe all of those things are masculine as well.
I don't know. So think about that.
Here's how.
When you're with that with certain women, they'll call you feminine for being too in touch with your emotions. They'll say those are feminine traits. You dig what I'm
I
saying?
mean, they're right.
No, but I'm just saying. But the perception is what I was
Yeah.
talking about. The perception of it doesn't represent as masculine. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think the perception is still stuck in the old definition that at least I received when I was growing up. I think now, I think we're probably one generation removed from that example that you just gave of feminine, of being called feminine, of that no longer being the case. Like I think we're one generation removed from that.
And I think it's levels to it
Or
too,
away from
right?
it.
So like I can be sad, but that doesn't mean I have to be boo-hooing in front of a woman. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
think the way we express it is different. And I think that just ties into the emotional intelligence, the awareness. But we could be able to communicate our feelings without being feminine.
Of course, we know that, but that doesn't mean we don't get depicted as that because
No, but Chief, did you know what I meant? What I meant when I said we're one generation away from that no longer being the case? Because I can explain if not, because I realized that
Well, yeah,
I was
no,
kind of
because
vague.
I was when I was thinking of the rationale, but I'm like, are we though? Because history ultimately repeats itself in all regards.
Yeah, but think about this, right? Just think about this. I'm going to give two very extreme examples, but bear with me. My mom just told me the other day that her first cousin, in like, which is my cousin's mom, passed away with AIDS back in the early 80s. Yeah, it must have been early 80s. And no, not we, I may not have even been born at the time, but my mom, her sisters, her siblings, nor my grandmother went to the funeral because nobody knew what AIDS was at the time. So they didn't know if you was next to the body, if you was going to get it. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's one example of how we viewed AIDS. And now how we view, I don't even know if people even get AIDS anymore. Like if it doesn't even get to that point, I feel like everything stops at HIV now. You know what I'm saying? Now they got medicine where people who have HIV, they won't pass it. You know what I'm saying? So now that it's almost been destigmatized, but it took some generations. Like Magic Johnson will say it in his documentary. It's like when he got diagnosed, people weren't coming out the hospital. Like once they go in, that's it. They're not coming out. So things started to change, you know. So like how we describe masculinity to our kids, right? I guarantee you're not teaching the boys how you were taught. right? Like you just weren't. Like you're
There's
not.
a, there's a balance in it. Like I'm encouraging them. We actually, it's funny. It's so funny you say that because we had not a conversation. We had a conversation, not necessarily about the crying part, but we had a conversation about confidence today with my guys or whatever, and it was cool. But like, I think the balance is letting him know he doesn't have to cry for everything, but it's okay if he wants to. You know what I'm saying? Like it
Yeah,
was
that's a completely different conversation than
yeah.
than what was
And,
happening with me.
mhm.
Like Prentice talks about it, right? He was called a crybaby a lot, right? Like at least at least I'm not fathering my son. Like last night, like he was giving Lorraine a hard time with bedtime, and I was downstairs because I wasn't on bedtime duty, and I yell upstairs, Chase, you better go to sleep. And he's like, Daddy, stop yelling at me. You know what I'm saying? And a part of me was like, boy, I come upstairs and you know what I'm saying? But the other part was like, he's standing up for himself, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he's expressing himself and he's letting me know that me yelling at him, because I hadn't said anything. I just yelled upstairs. It either A startled him and or made him uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So he's letting me know that. So I'm not dismissing his vulnerability, you know, whereas I would never, if I did say that, I would never say it again as a child because I would get some get right. You know what I'm saying? So it's just different. So my point is we're one generation removed. So once that generation, the boys generation, Chase generation, they're not going to come up with some of the same ideologies that we have.
That's that's fair. That's fair. Can either of you re- recollect or reflect on your most recent bout with navigating the ups and downs of manhood? And Mr. White, you just spoke about how you had to, sit back and listen to your lady tell it to you straight and kind of eat the cake anime. Was that a struggle with your masculinity? Did you have like
It's it's a struggle for me sometimes to realize when I need to, right? Because I'm such a leader and I go forward, 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 and I it's like being a therapist is a gift and a curse sometimes because while I do listen a lot, when I know what I know, I'm gonna keep going forward sometimes too. And so sometimes it's a struggle for me to say, okay, you need to pause and listen to understand to give my wife what it is that she needs, like in this case, and really understand her. But once I catch myself in that moment, it's easy for me to do it then. It's just hard. Like that's my biggest thing, listening to understand. And that's difficult in the marriage because she's like, you're a therapist. You should know this. And I try to explain to her, yeah, that's when I'm working, babe. Like
Yeah.
when I'm home, you know what I'm saying? It's different.
In
So,
theory, you should know that, but when
right.
it comes to in practice with your significant other, I always say, man, you can't coach your significant others. Like,
You can't. So I would say that was okay. It is difficult for me to realize it at times. Um, Another thing is like I was dealing with one of the new staff at my job, and I'm sitting here trying to explain something to her, and she's literally like, I don't know, like she's reading the email wrong, and I'm like, it doesn't say you have to do it. It says you're encouraged to do it this way. Well, you're just yelling at me, and then oh, okay, you got it, right? So I had to just like let it go because I do got this thing about yelling at me to where it's hard for me to take the back seat once that kind of happens. So I think that goes back to what I feel like masculinity is being able to maintain self-control at all times. So that's
I
I'm
like
always
that.
kind of clearly. And so in those areas, sometimes it's hard for me to maintain self-control.
I actually like that. Um, I know it's not an overarching definition, but that's a part of it. I like that. I don't. I appreciate the question because it made me think about bouts of masculinity. I don't know. Like I don't. Nothing comes to mind right now. Like nothing comes to mind where I had to be like, all right, check yourself, Bell. You know what I'm saying? Like that moment that you just described. Like I haven't. No one's tried me, um, one way or the other. Now watch tomorrow. I'm gonna get tried by everybody, and all this shit gonna be put to the test.
Where do you guys think that comes from, though? Like, is it an instant defense mechanism anytime we are? Because I think one of the hardest things that men have to navigate with in terms of like being able to drop that bravado is hearing the hard truths about themselves. And we fall into instant defense mode versus really taking in what it is. Like it's always a challenge. We I don't know. I don't want to say emasculated, but
Nah,
it
but
it,
why?
it
Why go
becomes.
into defense mode?
That's the great question. Why do we jump into defense mode when being? I mean, I think anybody
Because our
does.
vulnerabilities are being exposed. You see what I'm saying? Like, no, I say this all the time, and I don't know if it was you, Adrian, or somebody. I say this all the time, and it's the first time. I don't remember who said it, but somebody. What I say all the time is nobody wants to be told that they're the problem. And whoever I said it to at the time was like, "No, I want to know. Like, I want to know what areas I can improve." And I'm like, "That's really mature, you know." But the reason why we do that, Chief, is because again, no matter how vulnerable you are, we all have like these. Oh my God, are you familiar, Adrian, with the Jahar window? I'm about to look it up real quick. I think it's Jahar window. It's Jahari window. It's
Sounds very very familiar.
it's a it's four quadrants, and it's like known to self, like things that you know about yourself. Um, and another box is not known to self, and then another box is known to others and not known to others. So, like, what do you know about yourself that's not known to others? What do you know about yourself, like your name, right? You know your name, and others know your name. Not known to self, but known to others. People identifying your blind spots. You know what I'm saying? And I think, and then there's the unknown and potential, which is not known to self and not known to others. So, right, so I'll go through known to self, known to others, known to self, not known to others, um, not known to self, known to others, and not known to self and not known to others. So what I said, it's called the Johari window. So for me, if there's something that I'm kind of cognizant of, but I think I was just talking to one of my old salespeople today, kind of cognizant of, but I think that nobody else knows. And I know that like in the back of my mind, I was like, I really shouldn't be doing this shit. Um, but I'm gonna do it because I don't want to do whatever I need to be doing. When somebody calls me on it, it's like the jig is up. You know what I'm saying? And now something that you felt was hidden, right? Like it's not known to others. Now you find out it is known to others. So it's known to self, but you think it's not known to others. And then they hit you with it like, yo, you bringing up the rear, pause, like whatever area it is, like you're just not doing what you need to do. And then it's like, how did you know I wasn't doing that? You know what I'm saying? Like, because now it's like you thought you was low, but you wasn't low. So it's a level of vulnerability that we're not willing to expose, no matter what we say or how vulnerable we are. We all got those spots where it's like, nah, I don't need nobody to know this. Does that make sense, Chief?
No, yeah, definitely. I hear what you're saying.
So that's why I think people, and I don't think it's just men. I think women too. You know what I'm saying? Like women too, man. They
Hey, yo, real quick, do y'all feel like I know this is it, but do y'all feel like we carry the essence of all? Like, I told someone I have a podcast a while ago, and I got the oh my god, here we go. Do y'all feel like we carry that essence of that podcast that these people be stereotyping out in the streets? Like they be like, "Hey, men with podcasts, all you do is bash women and rah 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 rah."
I don't, but that's also why I never want to be constituted as an expert. Like it came up last week. You know what I'm saying? Like Because here's the reality: there's some validity to what those people are saying. Like some people shouldn't have microphones. Period. Some people shouldn't have microphones, and I think because everybody can have a microphone, it waters down this type of content. So when you tell somebody off top, "Oh, I got a podcast," it happened to us in L.A. Remember at lunch.
That might have been what it was. I think that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, it might be, but that happened to us. Like basically, it was there was a bunch of people coming up to us. We was taking pictures and stuff, and then the waitress was like, I don't know if she said, "Are you guys famous?" or something. She said, I don't remember what she said, but something to that effect. And oh no, she said, are you guys musicians or art or rappers or artists or something like that?" She said, "I'm like, no, we have a podcast," and that's she's like, "Oh my god, here we go." And Chief had our merch on because basically she's like, "I'm tired of men." Exactly what he said. And Chief
Oh yeah, in the pendry, yeah.
in the pantry, yeah. And Chief had our merch on, and I'm like, I said, "You want to know the name of our podcast?" And she was like, "What? What is it?" And then I pointed to his hoodie, and it said, "All Black Men Need Therapy," and her whole demeanor changed. She's
It
like,
did.
she's like, "Oh, okay, that's okay." Basically, is what she said.
Bitch, we don't need your approval.
Yeah, having one about that is okay, but no, but that's why I shy away, man. I don't ever want to be like not on something that I don't have like I'm an expert in staffing, right? Like in my profession. If you want to talk to me about staffing, I will give you sound, solid advice. You want to talk to me about being a Division I running back, I will give you sound, solid advice. Like I am expert in those two areas. Parenting, I would consider myself an expert, um, because and when I say expert, that don't mean I got it all figured out, but expert meaning I've successfully done it. You know what I'm saying? Like my daughter is now 26 and graduated college and a productive human in society, which is all we can ask for. Um, but the other like relationships, man, vulnerability, nah. I'm the last person that need to be giving somebody advice because then I would fall into that bucket that she's talking about.
What's crazy is I don't ever feel like we really be like I don't feel like I mean we are giving advice, but I think like continuing to speak anecdotally from our experiences like is the only thing we can offer to people. Like we're not saying like this is what you should do. Like this is what worked for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Feel free to try it for yourself, but this is you know what I'm saying? So we ain't there for like, yo, all black men need therapy and we got the answer how to, you know what I mean, how to help you.
100%, hundred
That
percent,
ain't, that ain't the
hundred
case
percent.
at all. I
I
don't know
agree.
why. It was when you mentioned that. I'm just thinking because I don't. You know, I also don't. I don't want to be viewed in that light because I really do think we're doing, you know, some good work, and I don't want people. I mean, it doesn't. Obviously, you can't please everybody. Somebody's going to be hating or whatever, but I want the overall consensus for our podcast to be something positive and genuine and real versus dudes up here bashing women or whatever. I mean, we might have a session or two where we got to get some shit off, but you know what I'm saying? We ain't out here killing them. You dig?
The challenge is, man, there's more of them than us. Meaning, there's more like podcasts of people who shouldn't have microphones than the ones that are really adding value. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no governance. Anybody can have one, regardless of what they got to say.
Yeah, that and people want to be entertained. That's the thing. Like people don't really want to grow and change for real. They don't.
Yo,
Because if that was the case, seriously though,
you
like
doing it again?
no, I'm not.
No, but that's a valid point. How is that? That's not. I agree, Adrian. People don't really want to grow and change, bro. If I say it, I mean we on the
I,
same page.
I don't agree with that. Like,
Look
I
at
get
what
it.
look at what
I
we
get.
invested.
I get it. I get it. I your both you guys' comments aren't off base.
Hey, real quick, people don't really want to grow and change, and I'm gonna tell you why. We've had our podcast for over 3 years now. My son started a podcast 2 weeks ago and got 3.9, 3.9, 3,900 subscribers. He's 9.
Are you serious?
Swear to God. He's posting like kid memes or whatever. It's for kids or whatever. My shorty got 4,000 subscribers.
So you need to help him monetize that thing, man. Shit, we almost cracked 1,000 though.
Yeah, word. Yo, if you on right now, share this with somebody. Tell them to tap in, man. Like, hit the like button. I ain't see no like shit. Y'all watching. Hit the like button. while you on here now. And it's crazy because when you say this, people should just click the button, but they still don't even do it, and it's so baffling to me. Like you watching on YouTube right now, hit the like button. You dig what I'm saying? Anyways, go ahead, Bill. I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, I'm pretty much done. That's crazy. That I'm trying to look to see how many subscribers we have right now.
916, I believe.
But listen, but why you
18,
look at that?
918.
Say what?
People, we say we want to change. So I won't say they don't want to. I'll say we don't change often, and we don't put in the work necessary to change.
Listen, I know I like came out and said I don't agree, but I do agree on some levels. I think it's easier to talk about change than to actually do it. And I think there's people who genuinely want help and will do anything to change, but may not have the resources or the access. And I think there's people with the resources and access that can just talk about it because they have the resources and access, but aren't really willing to put in the work. You know what I'm saying? Like change is hard. Like there's no two ways about it. So I think by definition, I think you guys are right that by definition, most people aren't gonna change, right? Just based on statistics, most people aren't. Like I would agree with that. I would say more people want to change than are willing to do the work. Like they'll say they want to change, but I don't know that they know what that entails. And once they find out, change may not be looking so optimal for them at that point.
I'll say this, yo. I think still currently, like someone asked me a while ago, like what is the most proud of late as of late, and I honestly felt like even though there's still so much more work to do, like the growth, my personal growth over the past couple of years is something I'm exponentially proud of, like super super proud of. You know what I'm saying? And I think I like implore people to look within and really like aspire to change. You just feel better, you'll move better, you know what I'm saying? You'll think clearer. And unfortunately, it ain't easy. It's a lot easier said than done. And that mirror cold in a muff. But once you know what I mean, you sit in that joint and you had them tough conversation with yourself or listen to your people telling you, it really does make a difference, man. So
Yeah, I think the challenge for some people, which can like dovetail over in terms of the changes, I do personally believe this to be true, that there's a large contingency of people who aren't connected to a greater purpose. You know what I'm saying? So they may be connected to making more money. They may be connected to that new job title, that finding the right significant other, that new car, but that's not a deep purpose, right? Those are goals. Like that's not a purpose. That's not what drives you. Like the purpose has to be bigger than you. And I do believe that that is the challenge. And no disrespect or no shot to anybody who's not connected to a deeper purpose, because here's the reality. Statistically, most people are just surviving. Statistically. You know what I'm saying? When you look at the wealth gap, right? The generational wealth, like most people are just surviving. So I'll give you an ill statistic. The Boston Globe put this article out, and I'll be quick, but they they um they asked or they polled Bostonians, white Bostonians, people who live in Boston proper, and the average net worth of a white family in Boston was $225,000. Average net worth. The average net worth of a black family in Boston proper. Want to take a guess on how much it was, Adrian? Did I tell you this already? So average net worth of a white family in Boston to 2019 Boston Globe, which is now known as the Report, is 225. What is it for a black family?
What, like 80?
Close. $8.
what?
$8 is the average net worth of a black family in 2019, per the Boston Globe, of the average black family in Boston. Average net worth is $8. You can look it up. It's crazy. So my point is, it's hard to be connected to a deeper purpose if you're barely living, quite frankly. So the
Well,
change. So you look at that population of people. I'm sure they want to change. I'm sure they do, but they may not have the access, the resources, and as a result, they just may be discouraged.
so I look at it the other way, because they don't have a purpose. That's what's keeping them from excelling and moving forward and growing. So I
Yeah,
think if they
that's
had
fair.
the purpose first, that's what would change their situation.
No,
And by that, that's my favorite thing to work with men on. Like I love when I get my men, I get the inquiries. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out purpose. I'm like that, like let's get it, you know. So
yeah, man. I would argue, bro, because I'm speaking from experience. Like I didn't fully understand my purpose until like 4 years ago.
mhm.
Like fully understand that. Like I wasn't deeply connected to it um as I am now. But I would argue that a lot. Like somebody may say, well, my purpose is to be a great father. Like, come on, like that's it. Like that's all you want. That's your whole purpose in life, right? Like there's something you need to dig deeper. You know what I'm saying? But it takes conversations like this to help people
Yeah.
understand that, because again, a lot of times people's purpose is just connected to what they didn't receive. So if you didn't have parents or whatever the case, that's your sole focus to not be what you experience for your kids. You know what I'm saying? So I get it, but you're gonna do that regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna do that
Right.
regardless. So what else is driving you? You know, like not that this is your purpose, Chief, but I could see like somebody like you, like you gotta think every update is always about your kids. So there's a deep, not that all of us don't have deep connections to our kids, but I'm saying you're just more vocal. I could see that being your purpose, right? I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying I could see that based on what I know about you, right? Not growing up with a father, so on and so forth. Like I can see how you could say my purpose is to be the best father I can be, right? But you're gonna be that regardless of what happens. You know what I'm saying? So it's like what else are we connected to deeper than that?
No, I hear you. Liberty Twitcher. First of all, shout out to Liberty Twitcher because they've been following for a while. So shout out to you. But we talked about change. Say what type of change? Behavior, thoughts, what? And I think it's all inclusive. Like I think you have to learn to see things differently. I think when you think differently, you behave differently. But ultimately, we don't know what we don't know. So when we start to learn and get more inquisitive about ourselves, we start to change our thought process, and that naturally changes our behavior.
Because check
Fair?
this out, ladies and gentlemen. Thoughts are things. So what you're thinking, you're becoming. Try me if you think I'm lying.
And where people go wrong is they'll change the behavior because it's possible to change the behavior without changing the thought, but the behavior won't last long, right? Because your perspective around the change behavior is still faulty, right? So like trying to think of an example. Let's say my wife just wants me to do something that I don't want to do. So I change the behavior and do it. But since I still feel the same way, it's only a matter of time before I'm either going to stop doing it or it's going to become a bigger issue or resentment is going to build. So you have to start with the thoughts first, the thoughts and your perspective. And that literally changes everything. And a lot of people don't even realize they can pick their own thoughts. Like when I
Yo,
talk to clients about it, it's like
that
you
sounds
can
crazy.
choose. It does, but it's like you literally can choose, right? Especially when it relates to your spouse, because you don't for 100% know what they were thinking or why they did anything, right? So
Yep.
why choose something negative? Like why not
Yep.
choose another reason? And we talk, and once they start grasping, like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But nah, so then there's still some peeling the onion back that we got to do. But once they grasp the fact that you literally get to pick how you view a situation and start walking in that, a lot of things start to change and break off for people.
Yeah, that's so true. I had a conversation with somebody a while ago, and they tried to tell me something I didn't do by a certain period, and it's like, well, you wasn't going to do it. I'm like, how you know I wasn't going to do it? You know what I'm saying? I had like 7 more hours to get it done. It's like what are we talking about? And at that moment, I realized that that person has some things that they got to work through. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe, just maybe, if the roles were reversed, maybe they wouldn't have got it done because of how they're wired. Um, so I hate every time you put this up. I'll be rewatching these videos and I just be talking, then I'll stop and pause and like I can't see that, like when I'm watching it, I don't see the question pop up. But shout out to Larry Frank. He said change begins with thoughts, then actions, then drive to merge the initial thoughts to fuel consistent actions, thus leading to love it. That's actually a great definition.
For sure. This is an interesting take right here, real quick, bro. I can let you continue. But Liberty Twitcher says, I think it's unusual that people try to change. I think most people just assume they're a certain way, and that's how they're always going to be. They don't even try to change. And that's why we're consistently preaching that in this platform.
That's unfortunately true. Because I also think that people pick and choose what they want to change just to say that they're changing or just to say that they're growing or say that they're evolving. It's like it's like if you look at like a basketball example, it's like work on your left hand. They don't work on their left hand in the summer, but they come back with a better jump shot. But I was working on my jump shot. Yeah, but your jump shot didn't need as much work as your left hand. You know what I'm saying? Like your left hand is what's going to prohibit you from going any further. But the comfortable thing is to work on that jump shot. You know what I'm saying? So I think people do that in life, man, with a lot of shit. And we've all done it on this call, you know, in some capacity. Because here's the reality, man. Humans by nature are lazy. Period. By nature, we're lazy. So if there's a path of least resistance that can still check the box, more often than not, we're going to do it. You know, more often than not, we're going to do it. And that's why, like, I came into 2024 with no resolutions, but I had a word, and my word was finish. So finish. Like, if I'm set up to work on my left hand, I'm going to work on my left hand. I'm going to finish. You know, like, change isn't easy. So yes, most people won't do it. Right? Like most people would want to, but they're not going to do it. So I agree with that. I agree with all of that.
No doubt. We're running up on time, fellas, man. Again, it's always some insightful conversation. I apologize for my energy being so meh today, but you know, it bees like that sometimes. But I think it's also the authenticity of why we have these conversations so people can see us in real time going through some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. And shout out to you for continuing to move forward tonight, given the circumstances.
James was about to hit y'all like, you know what? Nah. But
man, but that would have been the easy thing to do. You know?
Right.
I was about to say something to you. Damn. I forgot. Oh, well, this wasn't it, but speak up. Like I was watching one of the videos that we recorded, the one that's not episode 100, but another one of episodes. You be like whispering sometimes, but I should be pissing me off.
Me?
Yeah, you.
What you want me to do? Yell into the microphone?
Not whisper. Simple.
It ain't like I be intentionally whispering. This is how I talk.
Fix it.
No doubt.
Yeah, exactly. That is change. Not wanting to do something but doing it anyway. I think and I'm sure many people said this, but I posted on my LinkedIn a while ago. Mike Tyson talked about that. I put a quote up from him. Real quick, shout out to any of our people in San Diego. We'll be out there next week from Tuesday to Thursday. If anybody listening is in San Diego, holla at us. We are speaking at the Aspen Institute for the Aspen Challenge on Wednesday, February 21st.
21st.
Yeah, February 21st. We'll be speaking in San Diego. So if you're out there and you want to say hello, whatever, or if it's an event in San Diego that we can attend, whether it be a happy hour or some type of networking event or gathering, we have time in the evenings each of those nights after 8 o'clock. So let us know. Like we would love to get in touch um, with our supporters and show you the love that you've been showing us. So we out there for a couple days. Get with us.
Word. And we got some good stuff coming up, man. Too. I'm super excited for the podcast. So y'all keep us in your prayers, man. We got some dope stuff lined up, and if we play our cards right and line it all up, and just do the right thing, some good things are coming, man, and we'll be able to throw some more gems at people and impact people on a greater scale. So I'm super excited what's to come for the podcast. Mr. White, he was kind of quiet this episode, man, but it is what it is. I'll let you do the final thought, B.
You think so? I feel like I'd be the same. But
No, I don't
final
think you. I
final
don't think you
thought.
gave us much tonight, B. Let me hold on. Let me see
My
if I can.
bad.
Hold on, let me find the right screen. That ain't it. There we go. Mr. White, I'll do it this way.
All right, cool. Final thoughts. Fall in love with the journey, people. You know what I'm saying? It's a journey to self-improvement. It's a journey to growth. And as you grow, you're going to have different goals. So it's always going to be something else, So definitely appreciate the things that, you do have in this season because you might not have them in the next one.
That's fair. And a good little moment for us to take. Go ahead. Check in, B.
Um, I ain't got much, man. Uh, change is tough. You know, change is tough, and but I'll finish with this. When you know why, the how doesn't matter. So when you know why, the how doesn't matter. So how you gonna change it? You'll figure it out. But you have to be connected to a deeper purpose. That's the only way you're gonna do it. And yo, hit us up. Right, we got a voice line. Chief, what's our voice line?
860-410-6160. 860-410-6160.
I would gladly talk to you on how to help you identify purpose. Obviously, Mr. White, like that's what he gets paid to do. Like he can obviously help you. But yeah, man, if you stuck, like I wanna participate in our culture's rescue. So I'm not going to hoard information, or access. If I have it and you need it or want it and are willing to put yourself out there, call us, man. Like I said, we are not experts by any means, but if there's something I've done that could potentially help you, Mr. White, like I said, is Adrian White is like this is what he does, right? So you can obviously reach out to him, see if you can get on his calendar and work through that. But again, we're here. We're here for all our supporters. We appreciate the um, love and support and the consistency that a lot of you have shown with supporting us. So we just want to pay it forward. But that's my final thought. When you know how, the why doesn't matter. Or you know why, excuse me, the how doesn't matter.
No
Hey,
doubt.
right, hold on, Chief, before you go. Y'all are experts, bro. You know what I'm saying? I get what y'all be saying just because you're not an expert as a therapist. Y'all are experts at being black men, addressing your stuff, growing,
That's true.
and being open to give back. So y'all are experts, and that's still needed, right? So yeah, it's definitely all black men need therapy, but all black men need black men.
Mm,
So y'all are
put
experts
that
at
on a t-shirt. Sheesh.
it.
Wow. That was deep. Like I wish we could just drop the mic right there. But
I
like
mean,
that all
we,
black men need black men. I really like that. Go ahead,
word.
Chief. My bad.
And there's absolutely no need for the pause behind that either. All black men need black men, and that's some real shit. Um, I do want to point this out, fellas. Today we're growing. Today's our largest audience to date. I'll give y'all the numbers afterwards, but the numbers shot up a little bit. So shout out to consistency and you guys getting the word out and having people here. hit the like button one time for the one time though, because as my man Hamp would say, shout out to This Might Be Risky podcast. The likes help the channels the most. I think my check-in, my final thought is it starts with yourself. It really does. Like it starts with you. So introspection is key, and recognize your shortcomings and deal with them. But it starts with you, for real, for real.
It's an inside job, ladies and gentlemen. It's an inside job.
Inside job. Shout out to my man Samuel Taylor. Says I love the title. This gave me a lot of confirmation in my life at this time. Hey, Mr. Taylor, tap in, man. We got 100 episodes. 100 episode drops tomorrow, actually. And it was a live episode, a live recording with a live in studio audience, and it was a real dope conversation. So you got 100 episodes to catch up, B, and probably like I don't know, I think maybe about 10 every Thursday so far, maybe.
More than that, but yeah, at least 10.
Yeah. So we had our highest number to date, fellas, which I'm proud of. So let's keep this train rolling.
You thought about not showing up.
Yeah, shout out to my man Prentice. Oh, my man said he'd been watching. So salute, man. I thought it was fresh. My bad. Shout out to P. Hit us up, y'all, at All Black Money Therapy on all social media outlets. allblackmoneytherapy@gmail.com is the general email, but you can hit us up individually, Chief, Prentice, or Bell at abmnt.com. That's each of us have an individual one. And hit Mr. White up. Mr. White is info@acceleratedelevation.com. Yeah, hit my guy up for your therapeutic services. He's out of North Carolina, but he does do coaching worldwide. And with that being said, man, per usual, hug a black man today.
Do it.
And tomorrow.
Do it. Also, so I'm not saying that no more.
Why not?
Because that's Prentice's thing. That's not my thing.
Well, he's not here, so somebody got to cover for him.
Why? That's his thing.
I appreciate you. We out.